What is up, faithful ladies and gentlemen? Happy Friday, first and foremost. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to another show, another day, another show. I might have a guest hopping in a few minutes. Actually, my boy's texting me in a minute. Give me a second. We got to text the guest. I'll tell him no doubt, no rush. There we go. Got to keep it 100 with them. But my man Daniel says it's smoke season. So did Deb. Sad Niner fan says Rams are down bad. We love to see it. We getting Ramsey to or not? I don't think so, Raul. But let the speculation begin. What's going to happen? We'll talk about Jalen Ramsey. The Rams reportedly, according to Tom Pelissero, let's just throw it up there. Let's throw the graphic up there. According to Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network, let's put it up there, that the Rams have had trade talks about six-time Pro Bowl cornerback Jalen Ramsey. And league sources now believe it's very likely that Ramsey is dealt in the coming weeks. It says that Ramsey's 28 years old. He's due $17 million in 2023 and on a front-loaded deal that averages $20 million, and LA is clearing cap space. You know, the 49ers, obviously, we got some players to sign. We got Nick Bosa to extend and all that good stuff. But the Rams are paying for that Super Bowl. Now, would I have wanted the Super Bowl? Would I have sold my soul for a Super Bowl? You're absolutely damn right I would have sold my soul for the Super Bowl. I would have done the same thing. Sold my soul. I don't care. I would take the Super Bowl and reap whatever happens because that's what's happening to LA. They sold their soul to the devil for a Super Bowl championship. And now they're paying for it. They got no cap space. They got no draft picks. And they might be in purgatory for a while, you know, with what's going on. They're probably going to trade Jalen. Now, again, this is all speculation. They may not trade him. Now, if you saw Jalen's tweet just a few minutes ago, he did I not put it? I don't think. Let me see. Let me see if I have it. He just tweeted a second ago, actually. I'll put it up there. Let me see what he has. And he just tweeted this. He's laughing. Jalen Ramsey's laughing all the way to the bank. He's a funny guy. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if anything comes of it. But actually, I got someone hopping on to speak. What's up, Rohan? I thought you were going to be in 10 minutes.
Nah, I said I got 10 minutes because I'm actually at a Wisconsin hockey game right now covering it. But I stepped out because I gotta get my boy right. So I got to talk to you.
There we go. Look at that. This guy multitasking. He's covering Wisconsin hockey. And he made time to hop in. Hey, I appreciate you, my boy. So I'm not going to waste your time. Let's get into it. What do you think? Jalen Ramsey, the Rams are apparently putting him on the market. What are your initial thoughts on this?
I think it's very interesting. I mean, when you see what the Rams have done recently, right, you talk about the moves that they've made, and it's a start of something, right? Because the Rams, they understand. You're talking about the ramifications of their Super Bowl year where they had the Super Bowl, but they spent a lot of money and pushed a lot of money back. Obviously now they're facing the ramifications because they don't have the necessary cap space right now. They're over the cap, and moves like trading Jalen Ramsey and things like that allow for more cap to happen. And so that's what the issue is right now with Los Angeles. They're trying to balance winning right now, but also getting under the cap. And unfortunately, how do you get under the cap? Moving some of the biggest contracts on your roster. And so that's it, because when you start extending such talented players, it becomes an issue. And now the Rams, they're facing the ramifications. I mean, a lot of people thought it was, unrealistic. A lot of people thought it might not happen. But you started to see it when the Rams couldn't re-sign Von Miller. And now, moves like this, well, yeah.
Yeah, and they couldn't pay Bobby Wagner, who they're releasing. So, you know, it's crazy. And then it's going to be a ripple effect. And, you know, Aaron Donald, will he stick around? He almost retired last year, right? But he stuck around. He's got his ring. He's got his championship. Maybe he retires. Who knows? But it kind of shows how great the 49ers are in terms of contract negotiation because they've got a lot of people that are paid a lot of money. And every year they get one big contract. This year it's going to be Bosa. Last year was Debo. They had Fred Warner. They had Kittle. They got Kyle Juszczyk. They got Trent Williams. They got a lot of guys paid, but a lot of those guys are developed. And they bring them up the right way, and then they bring up other talent through the pipeline. So that speaks volumes to how the 49ers run their organization because, yeah, the Rams went out and they paid a lot of guys, but they don't develop anybody. The 49ers have paid a lot of guys because they got a lot of big-time contracts, but they also know how to wiggle around, you know, the cap space. So I don't know, man. What do you think about that aspect of the Rams? You know, they went out and paid so many front-loaded contracts. The 49ers are sitting pretty. We're about to sign Nick Bosa on probably a $30 million contract.
Right. And I mean, it also speaks to the different philosophies. It started off in 2018 when the Rams extended Jared Goff, their quarterback at the time, on his third year. They extended Todd Gurley on his third year, right? They extend contracts early because it shows a sign of loyalty, but it's a bold move because you're extending a player 2 years before their deal currently ends, which means you're tacking on 2 or 3 more seasons after the 2 years, which is, again, a push way into the future. And in today's world, where you see a lot of teams prioritizing youth over the experienced players, you don't want to make such a financial commitment and be tied down, especially when you see backloaded contracts, meaning players in their age 29 to 30 seasons making $28 to $30 million on a cap hit. And so that's the issue that we're seeing right now. And I mean, the 49ers, the thing that they've done well, they restructure contracts, but they understand when there's a limit, right? The 49ers don't double restructure. They don't push too much money over. And I mean, they're not, I'm not going to excuse them. They're a team facing this type of situation right now, right? You're probably not going to be able to bring back Mike McGlinchey because of the amount of money that you've hashed out. But you are right. It's talking about understanding the value of draft picks as well. The Rams haven't necessarily done that as much, and the 49ers have. And, they've been able to hit on draft picks, and that's a huge part as well.
Yeah, big time. Next week's the Combine. That's something I wanted to bring up today. NFL Combine. John Lynch is going to be there. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan's not. It's kind of par for the course these last couple of years. Kyle says, whatever, you go do your thing, John. They bring the scouting department over there. What do you think? What are some big takeaways coming into the NFL draft for the 49ers? Obviously, we know, like you said, McGlinchey's a guy that's probably not going to come back. Where do you see them going in the NFL draft? Because that's something we got to kind of start looking at. Obviously, free agents first. But where do you see these guys looking into the draft for the 49ers?
I think that there are a couple of positions. Right tackle I just talked about. I think that's one. And I'll start there. Personally, I believe the 49ers should trade up for a right tackle. I think they should move up because they have the ample capital. And really, when you look at the roster, not too many holes. So move up, secure a piece who you know is going to be a big part of your future. I've liked guys like Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse, Wanya Morris from Oklahoma. There are players that you can have. It's just because of the priority on tackle and because people can play left and right, you understand that you might have to go into the late second round or early third round to grab these guys. But the 49ers, though, they have 10, 11 draft picks. Depends on how the compensatory formula and all plays out. But they're going to have a good amount of draft picks. Go ahead, get your guy. That's kind of how I view it. But as for other positions, defensive line is always going to be a priority. You'd expect at least one selection there. Would be interested if they draft a quarterback. We'll see. I've talked about it extensively. I know the 49ers need quarterback right now. It's just would they prioritize a veteran or a rookie? Because remember, the 49ers have 2 quarterbacks they're going to put on their 53-man roster. You normally at max, and this is only 30% of the teams, put 3 on the roster. The 49ers are likely to do that with Brock Purdy's diagnosis. But is that third guy going to be a veteran? Or is it going to be a rookie? It depends, and I think free agency is going to tell us how that goes. I think free agency is going to be big. How do the 49ers attack free agency? From there, they're going to be able to understand where you see the draft. Because right now, like I said, they're not necessarily holes. It's just desires. Where do you want to not necessarily improve, but add depth and add future potential too?
Yeah, 100%. I'm pretty sure, and that's what I've said, that the free agency is going to dictate the draft. Whatever holes that they have left over, they're going to take over. But I see them taking a quarterback in the draft and adding a veteran just because of how everything's kind of played out these last 2 years. I'm going to see. I'm predicting both. I think they'll get a veteran, like a just Jacoby Brissett type of guy like that. But I think they'll also get a late round draft pick. Like you said, they have 10, 11 draft picks. They're going to get a lot. They're probably going to get another compensatory pick on their third round picks. They have 3 draft picks back to back to back. They're picking 3 straight picks in that third round. That's actually they're going to literally own the draft for a little bit. So they can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want at that point, unless they trade or navigate around. But that's going to be pretty cool to see the Niners just, boom, 3 straight picks. It's going to be like a rush of news. I can't wait for that. But I definitely think the 49ers are going to take a quarterback somewhere in this draft. Like there's that kid from TCU, Duggan. I like him. I think he's a guy that could come in and maybe compete. And if he doesn't make the roster, maybe he goes to practice squad or something. But I definitely see them taking quarterback in the draft and a veteran. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. What are your thoughts on obviously Brock Purdy? I know you got to cut back. Brock Purdy, his surgery postponed, but we had news yesterday. Trey Lance is throwing this weekend. What do you think, man? What are your thoughts on Trey Lance? There's a lot of doubt on him. And Brock, what are your thoughts on the surgery being postponed?
I think my thoughts are kind of they're the same as they've been throughout the offseason. I've been pretty firm in my belief that Trey Lance is going to enter the offseason as quarterback number one, specifically because he's the only healthy quarterback and the guy who's going to be able to complete the entire offseason program.
Yeah.
And an interesting thing that I've said the last few days that I believe is true, the 49ers, it's Brock Purdy's job to lose, meaning if he can come back and prove healthy and play at the level that he was playing, or at least show that, it's going to be his job. But in a way, Trey Lance dictates his future because right now, as it seems, and really before the news as well, it seemed as if Brock Purdy was going to be, he was going to be pretty either not 100% during the entire during training camp or not 100% during the preseason. We don't really know. It's a tough, but to me, I thought Trey Lance. That's why I thought it's his job to lose. If he can show enough during the offseason, you can go with him. While it's Purdy's job to lose, an injury certainly can dictate the narrative behind a quarterback position, behind any position. I mean, we saw it this past year. Lance was the guy who everyone was high on going into last year, and his injury paved the way for Brock Purdy, who now everyone believes is the starter. Now the roles are reversed here, and so I think that Lance ends up as quarterback one come week one of 2023, and I think unless he doesn't play well, it's really up to his play. If he plays well, he remains the starter. If he doesn't play well, 49ers could entertain a change as they potentially entertained in 2021 around that week 8 time before sticking with Garoppolo starting the winning streak.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that if Brock comes back and he's healthy and Trey's not getting the job done, they would do a midseason kind of swap there because Brock proved this year he could come in midseason and just pick it up and here we go. Let's go start winning games. But you're right. If Trey Lance goes out there and he hits everything on all cylinders, then we got a great problem. We got 2 great young quarterbacks, and that's a really good problem to have. So I don't know. I'm rooting for Trey. This is definitely going to be exciting. Knowing that he's starting to throw. He was on Rich Eisen a couple weeks ago, and that's kind of where he said he was going to be throwing around this weekend. So the timeline matches up. Hopefully he drops some content out there because I want to see. I want to see what he's looking like. We haven't seen him on the field for a long time. Week 2. Seattle, and that was the last time we've seen him do anything out there. So I'm excited to see if there's anything released. But last couple things, I know you got to go.
Definitely.
You got a bold prediction for me for this free agency? You said that you think they're going to make something big. What's your bold prediction?
I think they signed somebody big. A lot of people are saying, no, they can't. They don't have the cap space. I think they signed somebody big, just like they did last offseason. They have a directive going into the offseason. Last year, they wanted to address cornerback. This year, you've got a couple of different positions. It could be defensive line, defensive tackle, or defensive end. I think 49ers, they're going to spend big with one player around that Charvarius Ward-esque range. Because remember, a big contract doesn't mean a big cap hit in year one. The 49ers backload these contracts. It might be $5 million cap hit in year one, $4 million cap hit in year one. Depends on the signing bonus, really, because you can have that base salary be $1.035 million, which is the league minimum. And so to me, that's how I'm viewing it. But Raj, I appreciate your time. What's your big time?
I need a name. Give me a name. I need a big name.
Look, Javon Hargrave, Deron Payne are my top 2. That's where I'm going. The realistic idea behind him, I don't necessarily know. Deron Payne he could get franchise tagged by Washington. It seems like that's likely. So we don't know. Javon Hargrave then might be DT1. That might be 2 out of San Francisco's price range. The guy behind it, Dalvin Tomlinson. I think he's underrated. Had a lower year last year, only 2.5 or 3 sacks, but he's a good force. He was Minnesota's pretty much best interior defensive lineman and could fit in very well with the 49ers.
I like it. If I got to name a guy, I'm going edge. I'm going Yannick Ngakoue. That's the guy I want. I need Nick Bosa to get a help on the outside. I'm taking Yannick. Drop some bags on him. Go get him.
Hey, that's great. But Raj, got to go. Appreciate the time. We will talk very soon. Appreciate you guys in the chat too.
Appreciate you, Rohan. Take care, my man.
You too.
My man Rohan out there living the professional life. He's out there covering Wisconsin hockey. Hopped in here for a minute. What a kid, man. What a young trailblazer. He's up and coming, man. I love Rohan. Good dude. But yeah, that definitely makes sense. If the 49ers were to go after a free agent, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to just have to pay him all this money right now. Because people say the cap space. The 49ers, like we just talked about, they're really good at backloading these contracts. So they may be able to sign a guy and put the money on different years. Like this year, And that could work sometimes, and sometimes that hits you, clear across the face, and sometimes a bad thing. Because this year we were still paying for D Ford. He wasn't even on the he wasn't even on the team. You know what I mean? But sometimes it works out. But it could be that situation where you're paying for a guy and he's not on your team anymore. So it's good, it's bad. You get players, but you have to pay them when they're not on the team sometimes. So it is unfortunate in that situation. Case closed says, "What's up? When do you think the 49ers will start making moves?" So, well, the 49ers, they can't, any team really can't start negotiating until March 13th. The new league year is March 15th. That's when deals become official. That's when you can start making these official signings. But March 13th, teams can't even negotiate until then. There's going to be rumors. There's going to be a lot of things flying out in the air. But until you get to March 13th, you can't even negotiate with the player. So we got about 2 more weeks, so we'll see. Pocket says Yannick might cost a bit, but he would be nice. Yeah, 100%. If they could swing it, they could afford it. I would agree. We got a couple other people, some comments. Someone says that the Eagles might get Ramsey, and then Josh says the Eagles can't even sign the players they got. I don't think the Eagles would be able to get a guy like Jalen because they are struggling to sign their own guys. They got to prioritize some players. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. No one cares about the Eagles, says Tej. I agree. Tej also says that the Rams would definitely not trade Jalen Ramsey to the 49ers, and I agree. There's no way. There's no way that the 49ers would even have a chance to get the Jalen Ramsey. You think the Rams would trade to the division? Forget about just the division. To the Niners, their rivals, there's no way that they would trade Jalen Ramsey to the Niners. There's no way. Absolutely no way. What about Calais Campbell? I'm down with Calais Campbell. He's a solid player. And really, honestly, any solid player that can help this defensive line, a really good, solid veteran would be good for this team. Justin Houston, that guy is one of the most consistent defensive linemen ever. A great situational passer. Go get Justin Houston. That guy proved that he could still ball out. That can still ball out. There are some players out there that you can get veteran help on this team. So Lothar says, I'm hoping Kalia Davis can be a baby DJ Jones. Me too. I like Kalia Davis. I think he could be a talented guy. But again, coming off an ACL, what can we expect out of a guy like that, right? What can we expect out of Kalia Davis? This is going to be his rookie season for all intents and purposes, basically, because last year was a redshirt. I'm excited. I know John Lynch has talked about him a lot, saying he has a lot of DJ Jones qualities. So it's going to be interesting to see. So, Christy, what's good? How we doing? Let's take a look. Shout out to the non-Niner fans in the chat. You guys love us. You guys are spending your time on a Niner chat when you're not even a Niner fan. That's always better. You get the engagement. Appreciate you running my channel up. Love to see it. Let's take a look. Let's do some questions here. I'll open up to you guys. And then I got a couple things else I'm going to talk about. So obviously we talked about the combine. John Lynch will be there. And Kyle Shanahan won't. But that's pretty much par for the course over the last couple of years. So let's see what else we got. This was tweeted out by Akash. So Kyle Shanahan is not headed to Indianapolis for the NFL Combine. As we know, John Lynch will be there and is expected to meet with the local media on Tuesday. So this is great to hear. John Lynch will be there and talk to the media on Tuesday. That's something we want to hear from John Lynch. I want to hear a lot of stuff. I want to hear about Brock Purdy. I want to hear what he's talking about Trey Lance. I need to hear his draft plan. I want to hear what he's thinking about free agency. So Tuesday, I'm excited to hear what John Lynch has to say. He always drops some good tidbits for us on the NFL Network. So I'm sure he'll be there and give us a lot of good sound bites next week. So let's take a look. There's a little bit of other news today. There was a little bit of rumors going on. And obviously he's still connected to the team. He's not on the team. He's a free agent. But Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a costly as a free agent per Jeremy Fowler. It says that he wants a contract that measures his skill set and ability. I heard rumors about 15, 20, 25 million or something like that. The report adds teams around the league view him as the third option at quarterback after Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers. So apparently, according to all the rumors, Jimmy Garoppolo's the third highest quarterback prospect, free agent, whatever you say, out there right now. So Jimmy's going to be out there getting a big contract. So again, we talked about Jimmy the other day. And the possibility of the 49ers bringing him back. But right now, all the reports are looking like Jimmy is going to command a big market. So, there's people that are out there saying Jimmy will come back to the Niners, but it doesn't look like it based on these reports. But again, we'll see what happens. We really got to see what Purdy's surgery status is going to be. Again, it's going to happen hopefully in March, but there's no exact date. So we still don't know what's going to happen with Purdy. Trey Lance is throwing this weekend, and that's huge news for him. And I think that's a really positive sign because we've had a lot of bad news with quarterbacks over the last couple of weeks, man, especially after that NFC Championship game. So it's interesting to at least know that Trey's going to be throwing this weekend. So. CJ Henderson from the Panthers. Yo, CJ Henderson's a beast. I would love to get CJ Henderson. Guy's great. I do want to get Emmanuel Mosley back. If they're not gonna be able to get a big time corner on the market, bring back Emmanuel Mosley. He'll probably be able to get on a cheaper contract because of the unfortunate injury. He knows the system. We know how hard he's gonna work, and he's gonna want to prove it. So you'd have Lenore, who's on the rise. You got Charvarius Moore Ward. You got my man Sam Womack, who showed some flashes, and I think he could improve. And then you got Ambry Thomas, but this is a make or break year for Ambry Thomas. Can he step up? Can Steve Wilkes improve him? So you still want to get some depth because even if you get Emmanuel Mosley back, you don't know how healthy he's going to be. So getting a guy like CJ Henderson will be phenomenal. So Maxim says there are rumors that the Rams agreed to trade Ramsey to the 49ers for the third-round picks and Raj to run their social media page. Hey, I haven't heard those yet, but if I hear the call, I'll let you know. I would not want to run the Rams social media page. But let's see. Pocket says that E-Man is gone. I hope not. Why do you think Emmanuel Mosley is gone? I hope he stays. I think he's going to stay with the Niners because he's, been brought up to the system. And I think he knows he can still be a top quarterback on the 49ers, and they're going to give him that opportunity. The only way he doesn't, I think, is if Houston or the Jets or somebody like that says, hey, look, come to us. We'll give you a lot more money. Probably not Houston because they got some really good cornerbacks. You got Sauce and DJ Reed and a couple other guys out there. Their defense is really set. So it might be Houston, right? Because they got D'Amico Ryans. He was his defensive coordinator for a little bit. Maybe he's the guy that brings him over there. But I still feel that Emmanuel Mosley is going to be a priority for the 49ers. So my man 49ers first take says JV is cooked. James wants to know what's up with JV. And Aaron says JV is cooked. I agree. Unfortunately, I love Jason Verrett, good dude, but the man's injury history is just not good. Putting it simple, it's just been horrible, right? Jason Verrett has had injury after injury after injury after injury, and they're not like minor injuries. It's not like a sprained ankle or a rib contusion or something, or a hamstring strain. It's a torn ACL, a torn Achilles. It's injuries like that, really substantial injuries. So unfortunate, Jimmy, this is the way to put it. Sean says JV is great, but he's injury prone. And I hate to say it, but he really is. His career, we don't know what his career would have looked like had he not been injured. He could have been one of the best cornerbacks of the last decade if he would have stayed healthy. But unfortunately, it wasn't the case. So Nathan says JV should hang it up, to be honest. Unfortunately, he probably should. I know he's got a passion and a love of the game and he wants to play, but I definitely think that Jason Verrett should probably retire. And it's sad to say that because he's such a good dude. But every year, man, he goes out there and he can't even see the field. Like, he got injured in practice, trying to get ramped up for the game. It's an unfortunate situation. Great guy. Good dude. Has the talent, but he can't stay healthy. It's just an unfortunate situation. Some guys are like that, and it sucks. But, Niners gave him a second chance and a third chance when no teams would. He had 2020. He looked amazing. And I was like, oh, wow, maybe he broke the injury bug. And unfortunately, caught him again. So he should be a DB coach. Yeah, I wouldn't mind him being a DB coach. He would probably make a really good DB coach. He loves the game. He has passion. He knows the game. I think he could be a solid DB coach, 100%. My man says, stop lying to the people. I cannot believe the fake news that is coming out of your face. So my man Aguilar says that the fake news that is Jason Verrett. So all I just said. So right now I said that Jason Verrett is injury prone. But my man Aguilar doesn't believe it. So I don't know. People, man. These people on the internet are crazy. There's your 5 seconds of fame. There you go. I'm lying to the people because I'm telling you that Jason Verrett is injury prone, and he's not, according to Aguilar. I'm sorry to lie to you guys that Jason Verrett is not injury prone. I'm lying to everybody. Actually, we're living in a mirage. We're living in an alternate universe. I'm looking at it right now. He's right. Jason Verrett has played 30 seasons in the NFL, and he's a 20-time All-Pro. Holy! I didn't know. I didn't know. Unbelievable! I never knew that. I didn't know that. He's a 30. He's played 30 years, most out of every player in the NFL. That's crazy to me. Unbelievable. So, yeah, great to know. I didn't know all this time. All this time, we've been living in an alternate universe. Holy shit, man. That's crazy, man. Unbelievable. We've lived in an alternate universe our whole life. That's crazy. I'm just finding it out. Wow. Crazy. 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 Love it. We should do it live with David Lombardi. Should do it live with a lot of people. Here we go. I already got tagged in. I just got tagged in a post on Twitter. Should the 49ers trade for Jalen Ramsey? Crazy already. Oh, man. We need a Tom Brady chokeslam to him. Yes, we do. Let's take a few minutes for questions here. And we'll keep it short tonight. Short and simple, you know. He's probably a Rams fan. He probably is. Mel Rams. We got another Rams fan in the chat. He's crying. He's crying out here. Sorry to the Rams, man. The Rams are falling apart. It's unfortunate. They lost Bobby Wagner. They're gonna maybe lose Jalen Ramsey, but we'll see. They got a great coach, Sean McVay. So. Hey, Peter Parker says, I was hoping to see some videos of Trey today when I got home from work. So was I. But, he got to do his thing. I saw, I'm sure he'll be doing his thing and he'll post it when he can, Just got to wait. My man Pocket says, do you feel the 49ers make a move or two in the draft? I really do, because John Lynch, he loves to pull the trigger. He likes to move around. I don't know if he'll move up to get a higher draft pick, like a first or second round. I just don't know if we have enough ammunition to do that. But 100%, I think that John will move around somewhere in the board. They got a lot of picks, and I can't see them using all those picks. If you got 11 draft picks, I don't think 11 players are going to make the roster, from the draft, So I don't think they'll use all of them because you'd be wasting some picks. So I definitely get the sense that they're going to move around in the draft, in the draft process. So I think they'll probably move back or, do something like that. John Lynch always does. He always makes moves, man. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. But it is going to be nice to see where they, they end up with all their draft picks. They got a lot of capital this year. A lot of late end picks, obviously, but that's where the 49ers thrive. And I think they figure that out. They know they're going to stockpile these late round picks, and they're just going to stockpile these developmental gems. That's what they do. They develop so many good young players. And, they got to realize there's a lot of players on this roster that are going to cost a lot of money, and eventually got to retool when they go. So they're getting themselves set for the future, and I can see them moving around a little bit. So 10, they might be 11 because they may be getting a compensatory pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. Depending on if he gets a certain amount, it'll give them another third round comp pick. So Jimmy possibly could give them a third round. It depends on the money or another draft pick, another round. But potentially Jimmy could net them a third round pick, and then they'd have 11. That's a lot. Peter says Trey Lance is going to practice with the receivers this week. Yes, sir. He's going to be throwing some balls this week. It's going to be good to see. Do I like Max from TCU? He's not bad. I think if we're going to draft a quarterback, he's not a bad player to at least see what you got. I like the kid. That's one guy I think that the 49ers could draft, get him in a middle round pick and see what you got. I definitely think they could draft another quarterback this year like we talked about. We could also see them get a veteran. At this point, the 49ers need quarterback depth. So Peter says, last year we saved the best pick for last. We truly did. That's crazy. Lombardi tweeted out today that the last pick was the comp pick from C.J. Beathard. So you never know what these comp picks are going to turn out to be, man. It's just crazy, right? He better not get arm fatigue. You never know. Maybe he's just going to be so hyped up and ramped up to throw. I hope he doesn't get arm fatigue. That would definitely suck. Max out says any possibility on Lamar or Rodgers. I highly doubt it. Very unlikely. To me, I don't think the 49ers will get any of those two guys. You never know, though. It is the offseason. Crazy things have happened in this league. So, sad Niner fan says, are they going to take another running back in the third round and not play him? Again, anything's possible. I wouldn't put it past Kyle, but let's pray they don't take another third-round running back. Could you imagine if they take another third-round running back? I'm sick of it. Like Trey Sermon, TDP, 2 years back-to-back. I don't need to see it again. We've already seen what you did with it. I would hope they don't. That would suck. Oh, man. I hope they don't. If the Titans move on from Tannehill, do you think the 49ers offer him a spot? If he's willing to take a lower contract, veteran-type contract, a cheaper deal. But I don't think Tannehill's the type of guy that's going to take a backup job. He was already pissed off, right? He was pissed off in the Tennessee Titans when they drafted Malik Willis. He didn't even want to be the mentor, right? Remember? We talked about how there was reports a couple months ago when they were asking him, he's like, I don't want to be his mentor. Hell no, that's not the type of guy he is. So I can't imagine Tannehill trying to get a clipboard job, a backup job. I don't see it. So I highly doubt that Tannehill would be a guy that the 49ers go after because that's not his MO. He doesn't want to sit back and be a backup. He didn't even want to mentor, Willis like Jimmy did with, Trey. So there's no way I could see Tannehill because obviously if the 49ers take him, he ain't started. You can come in and compete, but you got Brock Purdy and Trey Lance, and we'll see what happens with Brock, but there's no way in hell Tannehill's coming in here to be a backup. So Peter Parker says, arm fatigue. I'm already having Trey Lance slander fatigue. Put some respect on his name. The slander is crazy. I've definitely fatigued from all the nonsense because people just don't even want to give him a chance. Like, if he sucks, he sucks. But let's give him a chance. I agree with that. That's a good comment. With that state would not fit the 49ers culture in their locker room. So I would probably put like a 1% chance on Tannehill coming to the Niners. There's no way. He doesn't want to be here. So we shall see what happens. The offseason is going to be interesting. The draft is coming up. Robo Raj. I'm cutting out. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I might have to end the stream here and figure out what's going on. I'm cutting out. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to end the stream because I don't know what's going on. Maybe the Rams guys trying to hack my page. So I'm going to end this real quick. I'll come back a little later and we'll do an Instagram stream. But I appreciate you guys for hopping on. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the stream. Sometimes it's choppy, on Instagram, but it's never done that on YouTube. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But we'll see what, news comes this weekend. I doubt there'll be too much news, but we will keep an eye on everything out there. Nothing else really going on in 49ers land. It looks like I'm good now. Okay, let's go on for a couple more minutes. Let's see. I'll do a couple more minutes here. But yeah, there's not too much going on in 49er land other than hopefully Trey Lance will get some good stuff from him this weekend. My man says it's internet fatigue. It might be some internet fatigue. Honestly, we got the Wi-Fi, the stream, the YouTube stream is tired of Trey Lance slander. It's fatigued from Trey Lance slander. That's what's going on right now. We got Trey Lance fatigue. We got slander fatigue. We got internet fatigue. It's fatigue season. It could be some spies, right? It could be spies. The script. Oh, man. We'll see what happens. Maurice says, on another note, just want to say thank you for all the updates and the fire streams. Appreciate you, my man. I try. It's not easy. I'm so busy during the week, but we got to stay locked and loaded. We got to keep coming up with all the news and everything. It's I love this team, so we got to keep updating and stay on top of everything. But lately, man, it's like watching paint dry with the news. Really hasn't been any news, just rumors. It's the off season, making stuff up. People making stuff up like that Debo rumor, which was crazy to me. Batcher says I'd rather have Lamar. Hey, Lamar definitely would be a player that anybody would love to have on the team, but I don't think the Niners would have it nearly enough money to sign a guy like that. So, see if there's any other things I had on my. Let's see. What did I have? I don't think I had any more. Yeah, we talked about Jalen. We mentioned the Jimmy news. We talked about the combine briefly. And you know what? Let's just talk. Trey Lance, there he is, man. I hope he pans out and lives up to the hype. That's it, 100%. At the end of the day, man, I just hope that Trey Lance just lives up to the hype, man. That's it. I just want to see him live up to the hype. That's it. If he doesn't, he does. If he does, that's a dub for everybody on this fan base because if Trey Lance wins, the 49ers win. If Trey Lance wins, the 49ers win. That's it. At the end of the day, that's it. Any center news? Nothing. We haven't got no news on anything, really. Again, right now, Jake Brendel, maybe they bring him back on a deal. He proved that he could be a really solid center last year. It was his first year as a starter. I think, that's a guy they're going to really consider coming back. So that's hopefully something we'll get answers with John Lynch next week when he meets with the media. That's what I really, really want to know is who is he kind of aiming to bring back? I don't know if he'll tell us 100%. He can't tell us everything, but he'll hopefully give us some hints, right? And we'll see, man. Anyways, you guys have a good rest of your night. Appreciate y'all for hopping in. We'll probably be live a little bit later on Instagram. I'm going to get something to eat, and we'll talk to y'all later. Appreciate y'all. Go Niners.